Hi there, this is Gary Dranow from Park City, Utah. Welcome to the Gary Dranow Show, coming to you from YouTube and radio stations across the nation. Come hang out with me and my guests while we talk about music, life, and reality. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gary Dranow Show and the Gary Dranow Song Lab. Today, I've got a really special guest, a true independent force in music. KEITHSHAW is a dynamic artist working across rock, Latin rock, and pop. And what makes him really unique is that he does everything himself. Writing, performing, producing, mixing, mastering. I'm out of breath. Even the artwork. And on top of that, he's been recognized with multiple major awards, including the Global Music Awards, the Closing International Music Awards, and more. Every ending is a brand new start. Right, Keith?
That is absolutely correct.
So, welcome to the show, and I'm so happy to have you on the show, and I'm sure your fans will be glad to see you on the show, and we will launch into it from here.
Okay.
You're doing something a lot of artists talk about, but very few actually do. You play everything: guitar, drums, keyboards. Have I forgotten anything?
I'm sure I'll figure out something. I keep trying to work some harmonica into some of my songs, but I haven't come up with a good creative idea yet.
I've been studying harmonica for 2 years now, and I'm not ready for prime time. You practice everything. You mix and master. You produce everything. You mix and master everything, which is a unique skill. Don't I know it? Why did you choose this path?
In 2017, I started writing a lot more music, and I had some experience. I had some really good friends that I contributed to some of the things that they were doing, and then I just decided to go out on my own. And it was just learning from other people, and then
Serendipity, huh?
yeah, and a lot of it was experimentation. Plus, I'm good with technology, so it was easy for me to kind of just read like a little part of the manual and then figure out a lot of my own. So part of it to me is you just got to think outside the box sometimes. So when you're mastering and mixing a song, you just don't do it on earphones. Like I have about 3 sets of different studio monitors, and then I listen to it. I listen to it on a laptop, and I listen to it on a phone, and then I go in the car and listen to it, and then I have other people listen to it. So I get a lot of input about
feedback, both from your own environment and then from your friends and listeners. So is part of it control versus collaboration? Does that have anything to do with it?
I would say control sounds like some sort of
bad word.
psychological, yeah, like a psychological thing. But it is about control because I have ideas in my mind about the initial song. Like I write lyrics and then I come up with a melody, or sometimes I come up with a melody and then write lyrics to it. And as I'm going through the recording process, then sometimes I change direction. Like, even though it's not a song we're going to cover today, it's a song that's in progress. I said to myself, I need a good song about the summer, like a happy song. So I'm working on a song that's called Summer.
Which is a happy song.
Right. And, I came up with the guitar part, and it's got that kind of like funky with the wah feeling and so forth. And then I said, okay, I can figure out a bass part. And then I went back and forth between reggae style keyboards and then all of this other stuff. And I kept adding in different types of percussion. And then finally, 2 days ago, I said, you know what? What I really need on the chorus is a horn section. So I whipped out one of my keyboards. It's got all these great synthesized horn modules and stuff. And then I just wrote out a horn section for it. Now I'm pretty happy with it. So it's not only the control, it's the flexibility of being able to say, that doesn't work anymore. I'll try something else without having to communicate to somebody what I'm looking for, because sometimes I don't even know what I'm looking for.
Got it. I want to come back to this, some of your earlier influences, but before we do that, you played across the U.S., Europe, the Caribbean. That's a serious journey. What did those experiences teach you?
How to carry how to carry guitars on an airplane. That's a joke. That's
Oh,
a joke.
you're talking about guitars. This purple guitar over my shoulder. Is that a Fender Stratocaster HSSS, or is that a different brand?
No, that's actually a American-made Fender Strat Jeff Beck model with the
That's the
gold
Jeff
lace
Beck model with the humbuckers in the
with the
bridge.
gold lace sensors, humbucker in the bridge. You can split the humbucker. Then you got the two single pickups, and you got the shallow locking tunings, and the roller balls in the nut.
Yep,
I
I've got Jeff Beck, and you make me want to run down and check mine to see if mine has a humbucker in the bridge. I don't think so, but
yeah, it's kind of cool. When they designed that, I got that used, by the way. I didn't buy that
uh-huh.
brand new, and it was probably from like, because Fender, you can go back and look at serial numbers and figure out when it was made.
Absolutely.
And this guitar was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I bought it at the old Sam Ash music store chain that's no longer around. The guitar was like nobody ever played it. It had a little bit of back belt scratches on the plastic piece on the back. The case was just pristine, and
The tweed
I
case.
yeah, it came with the tweed. The tweed case is behind me in the room that you can't see because I blocked the mess out in the room. But
Hmm.
that's one of my main guitars. If we're going to talk about guitars a bit, even though the brand kind of morphed into something else, carving guitars, which were
Uh-huh.
with the active pickups and stuff. Um, so I use the Fender, I use the Carvin, I'll use a Telecaster, I'll use an Ibanez 12 string, I'll rotate those in and out depending on what the
I
song
gotta
calls
ask you,
for.
how many guitars do you have?
Um, I don't want to turn around and look, but probably at least a dozen. At
I've
least a
got
dozen.
I have slimmed down from 87 to 74.
I
I have a problem. See.
Yeah, I unfortunately I wouldn't have the room to put them in. But a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you have 12 guitars. Oh my gosh, that's like so many." I'm going, "Well, compared to people like you just mentioned, some people have 40, 50, 60, 80, whatever." But I kind of these ones I kind of like gravitated to, and they get the job done for me. And some
Well,
of them
you've definitely got your bases covered.
yeah. But funny you mentioned bass because I only have one bass.
Uh-huh. And
I
is
got
is it a is it a Music Man?
no, it's a
P bass?
Fender P bass blackface with the big blackface pickups in it. And I bought that just on a whim. I just said, you know what? I'll just buy it. It's not one that I saw a lot of people with, but once I had that bass, I said I don't need any more unless I the bass got damaged or something. That's the only bass I have. To me, it's the only bass I need.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
I've got one bass,
yeah, yeah, I stuck with that
and
all
mine
along.
happens to be a P bass too.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what is the biggest challenge to wearing all the hats?
Um, well, like I said, is I'm pretty picky. Like maybe you'd get somebody who's like a top shelf producer type. Like if George Martin was around, he'd probably say, "Hey, your stuff's okay." Like, but you whatever in the mastering. To me, I'm so critical. If I have to mix a song like 37 times, and I'm just exaggerating, if I have to record um, a guitar line like 20 times till I get what I'm looking for, that's the challenge to me is just doing it over and over again till I get it right. Now, a lot of people would probably be frustrated with that, and maybe they would quit after two takes. But I'm always striving to make
You're a
something
little
better.
OCD about your music.
Probably right. But I don't want to let I don't want to let any horse out of the barn that like there's and I'm sure you do too. You go back and you listen to a song maybe you did a couple of years ago, and then you listen to it, and then you hear a part and you go, "Oh man, why did I do that?" And occasionally I'll have that, but I just don't want to go back and and say, "Oh man, I wish I never did that in that song." I want to make it as best as I possibly can, so that at least me and the people that I run these past as like kind of sanity checks that that I feel good about. So that to me, that's the hardest part. Is just being so picky, you know.
Yeah. Don't I know it? Uh, let's talk about some of your songs, and we're going to take a 2 minute break.
Okay.
Some pretty heady topics that you take on, and some that are very germane today. Let's talk about Breaking It All.
Oh, Breaking It All. I actually wrote that in the fall. I wrote it in the fall, and then I started recording it. And I was trying to come up with a guitar line. I'm going to kind of give you the behind that scenes, and then I'll talk about why I wrote the words. Um, I the bass line was actually the guitar line. So the bass line is like a bass solo through the whole thing, like a bass riff and a bass solo through the whole thing. So it's a little bit different than a song that I normally wrote. And then I overlaid the keyboards on top of that. Um, and then, of course, the bass and everything else. The reason
Where do you record? Do you have a recording studio in your house?
yeah, we have a three-story house. So the third story is the room I'm sitting in now is the recording studio. So that's where I have my console set up. I have all the instruments set up. Um, I have barriers that I shift around to, for the because you get things bouncing off the walls strangely. So I just do everything in as you would call it a home studio. Um,
So back to your song Breaking It All.
I wrote the words because at times we all kind of feel like that. You kind of get stuck in a rut, or you have things that don't go your way or the way you would like them to. So it was more about, it wasn't protesting any social thing. It was more about, here I am. I took a look at my life and it's not working. Even though I built it up to some kind of level, it's not working for me anymore. So I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to obliterate it and I'm going to start
And
all over again.
like the phoenix, come out of the ashes.
Right. And I said, now that I got this thing together, I think like I said, I started on in the fall, and then because December's a never a good time to release to me, and it's not a good time for my
For
music to be
everyone,
released. Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing
except
a
for
holiday,
Santa Claus.
yeah, you know, holiday songs. So I said, I'm gonna wait till after the first of the year, as close to the New Year's I can, because it can kind of be an anthem for people, because people make those New Year's resolutions. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat less. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop smoking, whatever. So, and I had people comment on that. Oh,
Resolutions.
yeah, what a great song to start off the new year about throwing out the old things that don't work and starting fresh. And that's really what the song is about. It wasn't any experience that I had at that point in time, but I kind of went back into the filing cabinets in my mind and said, "Yeah, I can relate to this. Like I lived through some of this nonsense." And that's what Breaking it all is about. It's about wiping out all the things that didn't work for you and then just starting over.
Rebuilding from there. Incompetent fool. Anything to do with today's political landscape?
Let's see. How many percent can I go up to? About 110%. Um, yeah. And I've dabbled in that kind of stuff before, but it was a song that I felt that I had to write. Um, and I had and I the way that I released that, I kind of snuck it out a little bit. I released it out to a small because I have this big group of stations and stuff, and I released it out to
through Mark Platt?
Well, I do a bunch of stuff on my own, and then I also use Mark. So I used my list for the initial stuff because it's a lot of outlets, stations.
Tell me how you built the relationships to self-release songs, and is it digital and terrestrial, or both?
Yes, both. And the way that I'm able to do that, and like I was a career marketer. I mean, I have a master's in business, but I just used stuff that I always did in the corporate world, and I just built a list of I will call them a list of stations. I'll call them a list of relationships.
Community, man.
Right, with the people that were running these stations, and over the years since 2017. I can just go to them and say, "Hey, here's a new song. If you want to play it, that's great. If you don't, that's fine with me too, because I know sometimes songs aren't people's tastes." About this time last year, and I'm not going to get too far away from Incompetent Fool, but I released a song called "Falling into Temptation." That's about like kind of people sneaking off on the down low. Right? Having an affair, like being tempted to have an affair. And some station says, "I'm not playing that," because, I don't know, I guess to them, they thought it was too racy. And I got the idea from a Mexican telenovela. But, so Incompetent Fool, I just kind of let it drip out a little bit. And then almost 3 weeks ago, I went for the big, like just launch it out at once, because I figured if I had too many people objecting to the content, then...
Well, the timing could not be better.
Well, I wrote that, I wrote the lyrics probably in December, like on the downtime of not releasing and doing all my promotion and sending out songs and stuff. And then when all of the stuff happened, up in Minnesota, I just said, you know what? I am dropping everything else I'm doing, and I'm going to work. I told my wife, I said, "Hon, if you call me for dinner and I don't come down, it's because I'm dedicating all my time to getting this out." And I took my calendar and I kind of threw a dart at it, and I said, okay, what better day than February the 13th? Friday the 13th, like with
the second one of the year so far.
Yeah. But I went with the first one. So,
all right, listen, we're going to come back to your songs after the break, but we're going to take our first 2-minute break, and we'll be right back with Keith Shaw.
In the shadows where I linger, fading out of view, a whisper on the skyline, they never see me through. Abandoned in the daylight, lost among the crowds, a nameless face forgotten, hidden in the shrouds. I walk among the people, but I'm never really there. A silent stream of presence dissolving in the air. The labor bred through me, I still feel the world's embrace. A solitary journey in a crowded sacred space. Living in the shadows, I'm the invisible man. A ghost in a world that spins too fast to understand. I watch the world keep turning, never laugh to see the tears. A fleeting thought that's never caught, drowned in faded years. The whispers know my secret, but they never speak my name. A flicker in their vision, a forgotten frame. But in the quiet moments when the night is deep, I find I touch the solace in dreams where secrets keep. In solitude I'm whole, in silence I am free. a hidden world of reflection that belongs to me. Living in the shadows, I'm the invisible man, a ghost in a world that spins too fast to understand.
Welcome back. I'm with Keith Shaw, the true Swiss Army knife of musicians. So we were talking about your songs. Your words are lies. I can apply that.
Well, that's
What was the genesis of that song?
Well, actually, you are the first lucky or unlucky person to hear that song. It hasn't been released yet, but I figured since I had an opportunity to kind of get it in front of some other people, it's really, I don't know if you could see the artwork for it. It's really about a scorned lover. It's
okay.
It's just the artwork for it
Life,
is
love, and deception.
yeah. The artwork is if you saw it in the metadata, it's like a woman pointing her finger and angry and everything else. I'm not making fun of women, but it's just remember how you spoke to me, promises wrapped in golden dreams, and then it just goes down the whole thing about being deceived and being lied to and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I wrote it from a female perspective.
Okay.
I really did. And I just
you have a very interesting vocal style, and I was trying to think who you sound like, and I was kind of leaning a little bit towards early David Bowie, but
really?
No, doesn't fit that. Tell me how you developed your vocal style.
When I was growing up, I used to, we all, I'm not going to say we all did, but I mean, you pointed out Bowie. When I used to do cover songs, I used to do Bowie songs. Yeah, I used to I used to love to do early Bowie from like Aladdin Sane and stuff.
Like The Man Who Sold the World and...
No, the more obscure esoteric stuff, like the song on Aladdin Sane, Time. There's a song called Time, and it's like... and
not to be confused with Pink Floyd's Time, it's David Bowie's Time.
No, but I used to play Pink Floyd's Time when I was in a band. So... Because that's one of my favorite.
I'm playing it myself in my local band, so...
Yeah. I mean, I grew up listening to Bowie and Queen. I mean, there's no way I could do a Freddie thing. I used to listen to other harder-edged rock bands. And when I was younger, I could probably had a little more whatever in my voice. But as I got older...
When you say younger, I think you still are younger. I'm 72, to give you an idea of that I'm probably old enough to be your uncle.
Maybe my bigger brother.
Okay.
I'm not that far behind you.
You look young, so that's good.
But I learned in Zoom there's settings you can use to kind of brighten up your mug. But so
I haven't found that setting yet.
Yeah. So those kind of guys that were like you'd call, if you turn on Sirius XM, would be on the classic vinyl channel. I mean, I tried to emulate them as best as I could, but as I got older, then you said you can't sing like that, so don't really do it. But as I got older and I got more into like Spanish rock and roll, people like Maná and Soda Stereo and Miguel Mateos, they were like more in my vocal range.
Okay.
So there wasn't like the blood-curdling screams that you would hear from, the classic rock guys. So I kind of try to settle in where it make the most sense because I wanted to have good quality sound, but I didn't want to kind of go over the top and try to push it. So it just kind of settled in. And you're not the first person that said that. I had a song last year that was called I made the right choice, or made the right choice. And I was listening in on a chat room in the station it was playing on, and people were saying, "Oh my God, who's this guy? He has such a unique voice." I really don't know where it came from. Like it didn't,
It was not a conscious thing. It just happened.
No, it's just me. And,
Yeah.
And then when I record, I use primarily the SM7B.
SF7B, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I use an AKG, but this actually fits my vocal style the best. So if I do kind of project really loud, it's always good at knocking it back.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Invisible Man.
Invisible Man, I was at the Philadelphia Art Museum. Because I get ideas from everywhere, right?
Uh-huh.
And some of the ideas we talked about already. But I was at the Philadelphia Art Museum with my wife, and we were seeing an exhibit, a special exhibit, limited exhibit on Black art and Black history and so forth. And one of the artists had done some piece of art and referenced Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, which came out in the early 50s.
Right.
And it's his most famous book. And I read through the book, and I said, "Man, this is giving me a great
The movie
idea."
didn't come out long after, right?
What's that?
The movie, the Invisible Man movie, did not come out long after the book.
Yeah, but the book is more about people who've been, not like an invisible man like Claude Rains and Kevin Bacon and stuff in those kind of movies.
Right. It's more about being invisible in society.
Exactly. So about kind of being, as they say in the vernacular, kicked to the curb, ignored, marginalized. And the lead character in the book, Invisible Man, kind of talks about that. Like he goes into different types of cliques or things in society, and then he ends up, because he gets so many frustrations, he ends up towards the end of the novel just living in a basement apartment in New York, listening to the same records over and over again because he just can't figure out a way to fit into society. So that's where, make a long story short, that's where I got the idea for Invisible Man. So like the first line, "In the shadows where I linger, fading out of view," like people walk, in my song, people just walk by him. Like he's not even there. Like the visual that I came up with, the artwork, is somebody sitting there on a bench and you can't see their face. They're like surrounded by a hood because he's invisible. So that came about as an idea from Ralph Ellison's book. And it's not like I went through his book and said, "Oh, here's a good line for the lyrics." I just picked up the spirit of what he was writing about in 1952 or whatever that was, and then updated it for my taste.
Okay. Help me with the pronunciation. No mire atrás?
No mira atrás.
No mire atrás.
Yeah, I wrote that when because I made some decisions with my music. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go down this path. I'm going to start, because it was something I wanted to do for a long time. I know people say that all the time. I've always wanted to do this. But I wanted to record songs in Spanish. So no mira atrás means I didn't look back, right? So like the English translation of the chorus is, in my heart, I didn't look back. In this big game, meaning the game of life, I chose to be happy. So it's about, like, you look at stuff and it's not working for you and you just walk away, and all the people see in that former life is your back as you're walking away, as they say. So that's what that song is about, even though it's in Spanish. And it actually gave me the opportunity to try some different things.
Where has your Spanish influences come from?
Bands like Maná.
So you're an English speaker that learned Spanish?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Tell me what Sin Fronteras is about.
Sin Fronteras is actually Sin Fronteras translates as without borders or no borders. It's about people think they have freedom, but they don't have freedom.
Right.
So you're kind of, you got to remember when you build a wall, if you're the person building the wall, you might not be
building
able to
yourself
get it.
in.
Exactly, and that's kind of what it's about. So, what I talk about is if you build these walls, if all of these things that stop people from being able to get together and know each other, then you're going to limit everybody. And like a line at the end of the chorus, "Donde el amor is la bandera," is in my song, love is the flag, right? So it's not a flag about this thing or that thing. The flag, the bandera, is love, meaning if you allow people to be able to talk and everything else, because it's not just physical barriers or lines on a map, it's the barriers where you don't let people to get to know each other. So that's really what that song is about.
And now we have the wonderful ice that makes loving one another that much easier. Jeez. You picked these particular songs out of your catalog. Why?
Well, they're the most recent. I debated whether to pick some others out. But these were the most recent. You always, when you have the opportunity to showcase some of your work, you always like to try to do the recent. Like I even threw Your Words Are Lies in there, even though I haven't formally released that yet. But I picked these because one thing over the years I've noticed some of my writing and some of my playing, because when you and I do this kind of stuff, play music all the time and record all the time, we always get better, right? So then you say, boy, this song is better than the last one. So,
Yeah.
It was kind of like I just picked some of the best. But like with the two Spanish songs, Sin Fronteras and No Mira Atrás, those songs were from the album that I did completely in Spanish that I released about a year ago. So but I didn't formally release Sin Fronteras till last summer. So that song did really well. I was surprised how, because again, just like with Incompetent Fool, you're kind of like, are people going to listen to this?
Do you have many listeners in Puerto Rico?
I probably do. I have a lot in Spain.
Okay.
Same with Mexico. Yeah, I guess wherever, especially when you get to these stations that can broadcast to the web, you get pickup all over the place. But I mean, Sin Fronteras, has that reggae feel to it. I was going for like a reggae feel, so it would appeal to a lot of people. So if you didn't even understand the words, you kind of say, oh man, this is kind of like reggae. It's not Bob Marley, but it's got that kind of reggae thing going on, da 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 da, and the bass line and that reggae keyboard. So I figured even if you didn't know what the words were, at least you could dance to it.
Got it. Do you think being fully independent makes you a better artist or just a more exhausted one?
Actually, I think it makes me better. Like I said, I always look for...
I knew the answer to that before I asked it. So
I used to work for a Japanese company, and they had a thing in Japan. It was called Kaizen Engineering, which was like these little tiny steps of constant improvement. So I kind of have integrated that into my brain. I'm always trying to make something a little bit better, All
right, we've come up to our second break. We're ripping through this, so we'll be back with Keith Shaw, the mystery man, in a few shakes of a bunny's tail. Here we go.
cada ola una decisión que pese. Los caminos se abrían ante mí. En cada encrucijada un porvenir. Seguí mi corazón, no miré atrás. En este juego grande elegí ser feliz. Las voces alrededor, susurros de temor y amor, pero dentro una voz llamaba fuerte y clara, sin nada que esconder. Seguí mi corazón, no miré atrás. En este juego grande elegí ser feliz. No fue fácil dejarlo todo atrás, pero cada sueño merece luchar. Ahora veo los frutos.
We're back with Keith Shaw. I've noticed that in all my communications with Keith Shaw, he's got Keith Shaw tied together. Is that a spelling error, or are you doing that on purpose?
When I started recording and releasing my own music, there's a guy, he's like a country folk, whatever. He's in England somewhere, Manchester or whatever. Mm-hmm. So his name, even though I didn't change it on the screen, I'm pointing at the screen. I meant to change that and I forgot. But with things like Spotify and all the music streaming services, it turned into a big mess. So I just smashed it together because I didn't want to come up with some different name. I thought about making my S a dollar sign like a rapper. But but somebody already had a woman named Kesha already kind of did that with her name. So I just said I'll just smash them together, and then for people that kind of know me.
So how do you pronounce Keisha?
Like you're sneezing, I guess.
Keisha.
Yeah, it just kind of spit it out, but it did help. Just eliminating that space did help. With, and every now and then I check on Grok, and sometimes it gets me right, and sometimes it says I'm the other guy, because apparently he still makes music. I don't think he's as aggressive or enthusiastic as I am about promoting and all that kind of stuff, but that's the only reason I did it. I mean, I could have changed my name to Elton John, but that was taken. And, and it's his birthday today.
By a little-known musician.
Yeah, because that's not his name either.
Reginald Dwight.
Right.
You've won some serious awards recently. One being Global Music Awards and World Songwriting Awards.
Yes.
What does that recognition mean to you as an independent artist? And has it changed anything for you?
What those awards, well, the Global Music Awards was for Invisible Man, which made me feel really good. And then actually the World Songwriting Award was for Invisible Man also. Those are what I like about, I'm not specifically those awards, but I always try to find award things because I think it's important to kind of give yourself a little attaboy.
Well, it's good to have them behind your name, man.
Yeah, but I always pick ones that are judged that say, hey, that we put the songs in front of a panel of judges, whatever that
Right.
means, rather
Right.
than please vote for me, please vote for me. Because I don't like to go out and beg and grovel for that kind of stuff. I've done it at times, but it's more satisfying to me to say, okay, we listened to your song, we judged your song. Here's an award because of your writing, or because it's funky, or because it's poppy, or whatever.
Because you have a totally unique vocal style.
Yeah, I usually stray away from the vocalist competitions, though, but that's more a confidence thing than anything else. But the awards are, like I said, it's a good attaboy. It's kind of reinforces the fact that I'm on a good path. I'm not saying it's the right path, but it's a good path. That means there's people out there that think my talent is good enough to give it a little, you know, what you call it, little statuette, or like a bronze medal or type thing or whatever. So that's what it's mostly about. It's just positive reinforcement. Now, if I wasn't getting any, I mean, in order to get an award, you have to throw yourself out there. You have to have the confidence of putting yourself out there and sending this stuff out. So that's a big part of it. But even if I didn't do that, it wouldn't deter me from what I'm doing. To me, the big thing is getting airplay, because if nobody's listening to the music, then I have to say, do I still
that
want
kind
to
of
do
leads
it?
me into my next question: is do they matter in today's streaming world?
I'm not so sure. Like I said, it's more about the positive reinforcement. You know, and up till a couple of months ago, like, you know, I would get these awards and I would just kind of take them and I would put them in a place and kind of store them. And my wife goes, "Why are you doing this for? You got to take them. You got to put them in the family room. You got to hang them on the wall. You got to do this. We got to get shelves put up and all." Because, you know, she feels I should be displaying them for whoever comes over to the house. So, like, even though I was honored to get the awards, I wasn't like I was parading around with them, like
Right.
with a shirt that says "Look at me, look at me." Like I said, it was more about the positive reinforcement, which is great. And like you said, in
So
the streaming,
validation versus internal belief, right?
right, right. And it's, you know, as far as like Incompetent Fool being played on Radio Candy radio, to me that's I'm doing a plug for that, because
Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. Mark Platt.
yeah. But apparently Radio Candy Radio is playing Incompetent Fool today on one of the shows. But to me, that's more important. And the people that listen to it don't know, unless they know me, they don't know if I got a Global Music Award or Indie Music Award or whatever. It's just more validation, personal validation for what I do. And what's nice about it is not just the English language songs, but also the rock and Espanol songs, the Spanish language songs. I've been fortunate enough to be awarded prizes for those too. So it really makes me happy.
Well, when this interview is over, you're going to have to walk me down the lane of how I get my music in front of the panels that might give me awards. I wouldn't hate that.
I listen.
Deep question number one. At the end of the day, who are you making music for?
I'm making music because it's satisfying to me. I know that sounds probably what everybody says. I'm not going to say because I want to be a big star, because I know at this point in my life that ain't going to happen. It's more
Well,
about,
never put limitations on yourself. You never know.
yeah, look at, what was that, Whistler's mother or whatever painted the painting of the woman in a rocking chair. But yeah, it was never about fame and fortune, all this kind of stuff and winning a Grammy. It was more about, you know, waiting a long time in my life before I finally, as they say, got off the pot and started doing it like in 2017, actually recording
So
songs
you're
that are
kind of new to the music scene
yeah.
compared to me, who I'm 62 years into my music career.
Yeah, I didn't really do anything with it till I was like 40 years old, and then I played a band for a while, and then I stopped playing music for a while, and then for like
Well,
10
why did
years,
you stop playing music for a while?
life life catches up to you. I had
I
a
had
couple
a
of
stroke that
yeah,
took me
that's
away for a
life.
while.
Yeah, I had a couple of businesses that I ran, and when you're the president of your own company, even though it's just like
Tell me about it,
a
man.
small business, right? You're the president of the company, you're the complaint department, you're the guy that cleans the toilets, you're the guy that has to make sure the bills get paid, all that kind of stuff. It just, for 10 years, I didn't do anything until about 10 or 11 years ago. And then I started, some people encouraged me, some old friends encouraged me to kind of get back and doing it. And they were recording some songs, and I just kind of, they asked if I could just contribute some guitar and all that kind of stuff and some backup vocals. And then I just kind of did a whole lot of nothing. And then 2017, I said, you know what? Let's just dip a toe in the water. And
And the
I
whole foot went in.
yeah, and then I kind of, you have these peaks and valleys. So I was, even over the last 10 years, I kind of like, calmed down a little bit, didn't release anything, did more like about the woodshedding and stuff like that. And then in 2023, that's when where I said, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm not looking back. So from 2023 on it's just been just nonstop releasing songs. So, or writing songs. Like and you probably too. I'm sure that people like ourselves probably have a bunch of songs that are either in progress or already mixed and mastered, and they're just waiting to go out in the world and do something. So I
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I release a song a week, and I've got songs scheduled into August. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. In 2024, I was doing 2 songs a month, releasing them out. And then last year, I said, you know what? I'm not sure I'm giving these songs enough.
love.
Well, not enough love. Like I felt like I was starting to overwhelm people. Like people are going, more stuff from him. They get worn out by it. So 2025, I kind of took a step back, and I just did it like every couple of months. I'd let one squeak out, squeak out, squeak out, squeak out. But behind the scenes, I'm still writing, I'm still recording, I'm still
So you're
monkeying.
building up a catalog of
Yeah,
unreleased songs. So
yeah. So and I hope I don't jinx myself, if I was to break my arm and couldn't play guitar, or had to do the one-handed keyboard thing, I at least would have right now about enough songs to get me through the rest of the year.
yeah,
So,
gotcha.
so yeah, that's kind of how it works for me.
Yeah, you blend rock and Latin influences and pop, and we kind of discussed this already. But how did that sound evolve? What was really the genesis of it?
I'll tell you exactly what it was. In December
No,
from
lie to me.
well, no, never mind. In December of 2022, I was watching Netflix. Okay, so and there was a show called Break It All. It was the history of rock in Latin America, going back
Wow.
to the 50s. It's like a 6-episode series. So they go back into the people you never heard of, but they became famous in their marketplaces. That some of them did come into the United States, but the majority of them were all in Latin and South America.
And then
And then
there's total unknowns like Bad Bunny, right?
right, yeah. Now he's the man now, right? But this actually is, to me, it's actually, I was just saying the other day, I should watch this again, because they not only go through the evolution of the Latin music scene, but they also go through the politics in the country, because it wasn't until the late 80s that you could do live concerts in places like Mexico. You would have to do concerts in what they called funky holes, which were like underground
Funky
clubs.
holes? I've never heard of that.
Funky holes. They were underground clubs.
Ah.
Sometimes literally underground in the basement, but they were below the radar. And it talks about how the music evolved because of that. And it talks about the political climate, like for bands that became really well known, like in places like Argentina, like with the Perones and all of those dictators and stuff in Chile and this place and that place, and it really made me start to appreciate what these artists did in order to keep their craft going. And I'd already been a fan. I used to do a lot of traveling down there, and I used to get my work colleagues who were in country. I'd say, take me to a CD store, and then you pick out one or two or whatever albums that you think that I would like. And then I would bring them back home and I'd listen to them and I'd say, damn, that's a good album. Damn, I would just I liked the spirit of it. I liked the complexity of some of it. I liked the percussion of it. So I worked that into, even though I'm doing an English only song, I'll work some of that into there, because to me it's just interesting. It's not the same 3 or 4 chords with the same 4/4 beat or whatever. To me, it's not. Like working things like congas and other kind of hand percussion.
It ain't the blues.
Yeah, and I trust me. Don't get me wrong. I love the blues. I did an album back in 2022 that's all that kind of like back porch, finger picking. You're like the one man band, so you're the guitar player and the bass player because you're doing
like Robert Johnson,
like Keb Mo. And I did an album called Tacos and Beer that incorporates a lot of that. It's pretty mellow.
I will definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it's on my website and that kind of stuff. But
which of course we will put into the description of this video when it comes out in a few days. So it wasn't cultural influences. It was the epiphany of seeing the artists and what they went through to get their music out and what they had to endure, and you just respected the process and the people, and by maybe osmosis you brought it into your own playing.
Yeah, I mean, some of these bands, like actually 3 weeks ago in Philadelphia, Maná from Guadalajara, Mexico, who's been around since the early 90s, sold out the biggest arena in Philadelphia. My wife and I were there because we're both fans. Once you start to get introduced to the music, then all of a sudden you'll go, oh my God, these guys are really well known. And like Maná plays all over the world, English speaking, and of course Spanish speaking countries as well. But that's where I got it from. I just love that it was good music. It had good lyrics. It had awesome playing, and that's all the things I got out of it. But it was interesting to learn how the political climate shaped what they did. It was cool. Mm-hmm. And their songs aren't political. Oh wait, I should take it back. There are a couple of bands whose songs were political and they got banned from a country or whatever, or thrown out of a country. But most of it is just straight ahead, good rock and roll that tell good stories and people that have awesome talent.
Mm-hmm. Well, to the audience, and we're going to say this again at the end, but definitely drop a comment. What genre do you hear in Keith's music, And Keith, make sure you have your fans, acquaintances, family leave comments in the below the video. So
Absolutely.
that was a little housekeeping we had to take care of. We are now at another break. Yes, we are. So we will be back with KEITHSHAW.
Despierto al sol cada mañana, camino libre por la tierra, mi hermana. No hay cadenas que puedan atar. Viento me lleva, me invita a volar. Ríos cruzan sin preguntar. Montañas no conocen límite ni mar. La esencia de los cielos, cantamos juntos los mismos anhelos. Sonrío a ver un horizonte abierto, caminatas de sueños, destino incierto, diversidad que abrazamos, cada historia un regalo a cantar. Las estrellas son testigos de un mundo sin enemigos, manos unidas en el baile, sembramos paz en cada calle. Un mundo con libertad, hoy mi voz es fuerte, fuerte, juntos un solo latido, con el amor esta bandera. Hoy se entrelazan como olas que nunca se casan.
We're back with KEITHSHAW, or Keisha. And let's see here, Keith. Let's pick up where we left off. Walk us through your process when you start a song, and where does it begin?
Starts with actually the rhythm. I always start songs with a rhythm. Like I'll use an example of a song that was on my first album called Haunted, like ooh.
Uh-huh.
And I came up with a song called Haunted. It wasn't like a Halloween song, although some stations still play it at Halloween. But I'm just sitting one day with a pencil and I'm just start tapping out this rhythm, right? Like a drum pattern on a coffee cup. So, and that ended up becoming that song. And that's how I usually come up with the idea for a song. Like I got like a rhythm in mind, not always the melody first, but some sort of the tempo and what I want all of that rhythmic stuff to sound like. And then I start to marry it up with the words. And then I come in later with I sit there with a guitar and figure out the chords and so forth. And then you just keep overlaying. I keep overlaying the stuff on top of it. A solo sounds good here. There's a break needs to be here. Oh, should it be a B3 organ sound or should it be a horn section? So it just I kind of like build it in layers. And sometimes I'll build layers up and I'll say that's not working. And then I'll take some layers off and
tear
start
it
over
down
again.
and rebuild it.
Yeah, I'm breaking it all.
Uh-huh.
Wink, wink.
Okay, well, believe it or not, we've been at this for almost 60 minutes. So
Really?
we're going to go into our lightning round where I'm going to ask Keith some questions and he's going to give me 1 or 2 word or 3 word answers. So here is the first one, Keith. Favorite instrument?
Guitar. Electric guitar.
Electric guitar. My weapon of choice too. Song you're most proud of?
Invisible Man.
Yeah. My favorite too, I think. Dream collaboration, other than me.
That's a good one, though. Actually, when we were at I know I'm supposed to keep this brief, but when we were at the Minaj show, my wife said, you know what? Maybe you'll be on the stage with them next year singing your Spanish songs. So that would be a dream collaboration.
Yeah, I would say.
Singing with a Spanish language band. That would be cool.
Last question. One word to describe your music.
Cerebral. Because I think a lot about it. Like, what do I want to say? So I think it's, I just don't. I know it's supposed to be one word, but I just don't kind of let's write a love song or, whatever.
No, a lot of thought goes into your music, definitely.
Yeah, I have to.
Last question, if someone is hearing your music for the first time, what do you want them to feel?
Yeah, of course, it's going to depend on the song, but I want them to feel like they got inspired somehow. So like
have
a song,
experienced something?
Yeah, so for a song like Breaking It All, like I said, it's kind of like it was like going back and thinking about the things that didn't work right in the past, and then you just say one day you're like kind of like fed up with it, and you just blow everything up, figuratively, of course, and you start over. Like if people hear a song like Breaking It All, and some people did comment, man, what a great song to start the new year. Using that as an example, or for the Spanish song that translates as I Didn't Look Back, is like walking away and just showing people your back as you go out the door.
What was that? Mira atrás?
No, mira atrás.
Mira atrás.
Yeah, which means I didn't look back.
Didn't look back. Yeah, so Keith Shaw, incredible artist, incredible story. Check out his music. Links will be in the description of this video. Please leave a comment. And Keith, have your friends, family, and fans leave comments in the video. It'll be out in about a week, or usually quicker than that. If you enjoyed this, gently tap the subscribe button, ring the bell, and leave a comment so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes or our videos, or especially our videos in the Song Lab. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye to Keith Shaw. It's been a pleasure, and don't go anywhere.